This is Why Do You Hate Jews, Part 2. I'm trying to get hammered. I'm working on it. Trust me on that. I've been drinking for days. I've been trying to get my endocannabinoid chemistry up. And part of that involves ethanol, arachidinol ethanolamide, palmitoyl ethanolamide, etc. But when I was a small child, actually my mother, I was the last of 8 children. My mother knew I was a very unusual birth. My other siblings were born pink. I was born dark, but turned blonde. I was always blue-eyed, and so it's. But she knew I was very long, and because I began walking and talking at 6 months of age, she knew I was extremely rare birth. And that really only happens to older women and so on who have the space for those big brains. And I still have the biggest head in my family, and my head's certainly bigger than yours. And as of the year 2000, we know that the bigger the head, the more likely you are to be very intelligent. And that's what's happening with humanity. In my lifetime, since I began studying physical anthropology and biology and all these other things, humans have evolved incredibly rapidly. You can call it evolution, but you're evolving downwardly. Yeah, sure, you're evolving, but you're evolving downwardly. Well, even when I took one of my first anthropology labs and courses, they proved and showed that humans had gone from huge skulls like mine down to 1,600 cc's, and in my lifetime, it's now down to like a 1,400 cc average around this planet, or is it 1,200 cc's? Human brains are getting smaller all the time. Just you little tiny-headed. I don't mean that people with small brains can't accomplish great things. I mean, look at Keira Knightley. Keira Knightley's a great actress, but she can yell cut at any time and redo it. She can memorize difficult dialects and long monologues and stuff like that. But she also has the ability to yell cut at any time, and they can fix her. She can't perform in the real world. That's why she's an actress. So, this is so early on. I've got plenty of time here, I think, to finish this off. As a small child, my mom began to hint to me that we were stealth Jews. And later, the genealogists proved that to be correct. My mom decided to continue with the stealth, and she joined a sect that's much hated. I think I need some more wine. My mom joined a sect that was much hated, but contained members that ranged from really good people like, hang on a second. Many of its original members were sent to the death camps in Poland and Nazi Germany and stuff, and to be killed. But in this country, one of its early members was the little boy from Denton, Texas, who was a brave man, a brave warrior, and a great president, who was the first president to warn us that the military-industrial complex will consume this country. I'm not going to talk about which Christian sect this is, because it's one of the few that comes the closest to observing Jewish law. But they even let in, they even let in a pervert pedophile like Michael Jackson and stuff like that. They went from Dwight David Eisenhower to allowing in a wealthy pedophile that ran Never Never Land Ranch for. So now I really want to start talking about some of the events recently here that just tells me how deeply embedded the Jew hatred is, which you can see all over YouTube. You know, the triple parentheses and the Jew hate, and boycott Israeli products. And that guy was using a picture of a Jew. Elvis Aaron Presley was a Jew. You people piss and moan about Jews, but you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for a Jew named Cristobal Colon, who was an Italian Jew. Well, you call him Christopher Columbus. And actually, some of my ancestors, were here just after the Egyptians over 4,000 years ago. They started arriving here. The Saint Brennan and Prince Madoc. And so it's really hilarious. You people are just so educationally retarded. Please, most of you people I know, the majority of people are watching this and understanding my English, plain English. You've rarely made it out of your parents' house, your mom's basement, or your mom's garage, your anime watching, chronically masturbating gamers and stuff like that. You're all over YouTube. You don't understand. The minute we see that anime, we know that you're a pedophile. Come on, man. You think that you're all cool and stuff, and we see right through you. You're transparent. And this Jew hate thing and stuff, I want to go back here. It's been about 10 months ago. I had this chicken shit manager of the local Brookshire Brothers chain store and stuff who was on video when they got robbed. That son of a bitch, dove for the floor and licked the linoleum and stuff and tried to get up. He was one of the most cowardly. He came in when he first got the job. I think he did one tour in Afghanistan or something like that, and he just thought he was the gunny, gunny sergeant and stuff like that. And I was attacked by this ex-con Negro loser and stuff who's well versed in that Jew hate and stuff like that. And I told him, they attacked me, and there was also another woman in there that one day that triggered it. And that's what happened to me the other day in Bryan, Texas, is I got attacked by a woman who just couldn't stand the fact that I was a Jew. That bitch was screaming for 5 or 6 aisles, which in that store is 140 feet. People were telling me outside when I was out in the smoking area, just taking a break before I went home, that they had heard that shit going on. They didn't understand it, because she spends $150,000 a year in that store, and I don't spend probably $1,000 a year in that store. And she's constantly running to management. Management came over and rode my ass. The same as with the problem with Brookshire Brothers and Mr. David Gilbert in Caldwell, Texas, who's one of the most cowardly losers I've ever seen. One day I decided to cut through his parking lot, despite the alleged criminal trespass notice from the cops. And he got out of his vehicle and he started walking, and then he looked up and he saw me, and he dove to the ground, just instinctively, split second, dove down, and when he saw that I wasn't going to come over and just kick his ass, he started pretending like he was, I just kind of lost my balance. No. Mr. Gilbert, I know you're terrified of me because I'm a giant Texas Jew. But everywhere I go now, it's early on, actually when I first came out of the closet, started wearing my kippah, and accepting the fact and working towards being a pious Jew, being Orthodox, which means staying away from the rest of humanity. You people don't understand me. I don't want to be around you. You people are sinful, loser, hateful, you're just nothing but trouble. I have no trouble being alone, being the last of 8 children. I've got, my oldest sister right now is having problems because she can't stand to be alone. So many of you are so emotionally dependent and stuff like that. And one of the things that draws you together is that you hate Jews for no reason. And now, at almost 10 minutes here, I need to start listing other reasons why you should reconsider the reason why you fucking hate Jews. We Jews, like I mentioned before, Fritz Haber is the founder of the creator of the Haber process, which makes your life possible. And you YouTubers who keep saying he's the father of chemical warfare and stuff like that, you're liars, because we scientists know it's Michael Faraday who refused the Queen's order to make his famous phosgene gas for the Crimean War, and yet in his old age she put him up in one of her cottages, which is a McMansion to you, 10,000 square feet or better, and servants and the whole deal. And the reason you can hear me right now is because this system, the internet, was created by a Jew. Google was created by an Israeli Jew. I'm pretty sure, I think YouTube was too, which was quickly acquired by Google. The major life-saving vaccines on this planet were all created by Jews. Polio, that was Dr. Salk, etc. And I just don't get why you people keep focusing on like a small group of banker Jews who are doing what they're have the God-given right to do, which is make money off your fucking loser asses. I just don't get that. You know what I'm saying? It's you piss and moan because you people want credit when you don't deserve it and shit like that, and you piss and moan because you don't know the fact that the Catholics, you people need such an education. I'm going to hang around. I'm going to educate you. There's nothing I'm going to get in the record for. The Catholics who call themselves Jews for centuries, until like the 4th century or better, 4th or 5th century, what they did right off the bat was, and actually biblically there was always a prohibition against usury, that's charging interest on a loan, but in Leviticus, that's also, there's the recipe. I do admit that we Jews came up with the recipe for global domination. In Leviticus it says, you shall lend to other nations, but you shall not borrow. But it's really all about the fact that something that I've done my whole life, which is never be in debt. Don't borrow money. If you borrow money, you're a loser. You're a slave. We created the bankruptcy laws, the debt forgiveness laws. We create all the laws that you enjoy come from us. You atheists, commie bastards and shit. And you're so full of Jew hatred every day. I can tell it. I can just tell by the reaction of people and stuff like that, that you hate Jews all the time because, why? We're smarter than you. That's a fact. The average Jewish IQ worldwide is 115. The average Anglo-American IQ is 100. The average African American IQ is way below that, and the black African IQ is borderline the smartest. This last, do I have a pen handy? The last IQ test done, like in South Africa, were nothing but pattern recognition. You know, essential for survival. Like, oh, that's a snake that bit and killed my brother. You know. The black South Africans who were admitted to college couldn't really pass that test. They had an average score of 75, which meant most of them, more than half of them, scored below the level of definition of legal retardation in the state of Texas, where you're exempt from execution. So, all the time, every day, I try to stay away from people because I know that you fuckers, with no rational basis and with no education, you hate us Jews, despite you would not even be alive without Fritz Haber and the rest of us Jews. Our work in science, etc., my work in science, you wouldn't even exist without us. And yet you hate us because you've been trained to hate us. You need to fucking grow up.